I feel like I've started every stream with me coughing. Uh, Sign of health. Sign of superior genes. I mean, hello everyone. Hi. Hello. Guys, I think, okay, we made some changes, all right? I've had so much criticism uh, regarding these streams, and only 10 minutes before the stream, that's not true, it was 30 minutes before the stream, I uh, went and made some changes to the tipping thing. So now there's a $5 minimum to send in a text. There is also no more text to speech, and I will have to read it out loud. And I think I fixed it so I can hear the alert when it comes in. Um, the reason why I had to clarify it was 30 minutes ago is because then after that 10 minutes, I took a 20-minute nap, and here we are. Um, are you arguing with someone on Reddit? No. Hello from India. Um, I honestly, I know it's probably frustrating for me to be looking down at the text all the time and not at the camera. I mean, I kind of look like I'm strung out on heroin, but I feel like this is probably an easy transition into when that actually starts to occur, so no one's really going to notice. Hello from Norway. Oh my god. I'm so sorry that all of you live in the not time zone that I live in. From Ireland? Bro, that's the most exotic of the two. Alright. Hello from Australia. Bitch, Australia? Are you not strung out? I am currently very sober. How was my Thanksgiving was really fun. I think it was the best Thanksgiving I've had in a very long time. I spent the first part of the night with my family, and then I went into New York, and I spent the rest of it with my friends. They all drank. I had to watch them drink because I have to be sober. That's fun. It's always the best. It's a blast. And we watched Spaceballs. It was delightful. Hello from Portugal. Guys, stop. All right. Y'all seem to be some pussies. You keep sending the country of your origin, but you're not sending me your address, your home address, and zip code. Also, I don't know if you can see this. I was so frightened that this little red bump here was herpes. Apparently, if you use Vaseline, you're not supposed to use your fingers to apply it to your mouth. And if you are to do that, for whatever reason you don't have access to like a Q-tip, wash your hands before you put the Vaseline on your mouth. And I did none of that. I was putting the dirty fucking grease on my lips, and that caused this really unfortunate piece of acne right here. It is a good thing that I thwart off any person that would care to put their mouth on mine. That was not the best way to describe it. I have a spirited personality. Hello from Dunwall. Lesson learned. Okay, guys, please do not actually put your address in the chat. Okay, that was merely a joke. Shockingly, I make jokes. Forley, it's Hanukkah, the smallest holiday in Judaism, which is commercialized. This is true. This is true. I actually believe that it is genius that we took it upon ourselves to commercialize one of the, like, least significant holidays that we celebrate in order to capitalize on the holidays. I think it just shows the ingenuity and selfless, or what's the word? Lack of self-respect that the Jews have. I'm just kidding. I think we respect ourselves enough to make money. Yes, greed. Shekel collecting. Thank you. You need more female fans. Maybe do women-only podcasts in the future. Only female podcasts. The thing is that the dynamic between a man and a woman in terms of like doing a podcast allows it to be more interesting. It allows it to be a little bit more general, or have a general appeal to audiences. Whereas if you have just two women, I think you probably start to embark on topics that really are specific to women. And I don't know if that really grows a female audience. I'm not sure. Also, I'm sexist. Also, I'm a sexist, and I didn't really think that out at all. Caroline is the real Messiah. Oh, buddy. You're about a year and a half too late to tell me that. Caroline, are you participating in Destroy Dick December? This is when you masturbate every day, right? I feel like most 13-year-olds, at least in this country, it's Destroy Dick December. It's Christmas all year round. Incel Caroline. I am, in fact, an involuntary celibate. This is true. So there, I collaborated with Anthony, Anthpo. I think I talked about this a little while ago. I was not prepared to make that video. I didn't think we were actually making a video. So when it was just an interview, I did not really have any cute and quirky anecdotes to cover up the fact that I have a really horrible, pessimistic view of the world. I have a hard time where I only make depressive appraisals of situations, and then I have to make it less depressing so that people don't leave me. So there was a question that Anthony asked me at the very end. He said, what was your hottest take? And the first thing that came to my head was, like, I don't really have that. I don't really have hot takes. I don't even have joke hot takes. Like, there are no... I tend to be a moderate. And then I realized that I did actually have one thought that I couldn't tell doctors, I couldn't tell my parents, I couldn't tell my friends. It was a hot take that I was like, you know what? If I can nail this right now, it might actually be an interesting point. And the problem is that because I was talking to Anthony, who tends to be a very, like, positive, outgoing, happy, like, a good person, it's hard to have this conversation. So I ended up speaking for a really long time, trying to justify the hottest take. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm allowed to talk about it. I don't know how streams get taken down. Caroline, your dad is a Michigan guy, right? What did he think of the game on Saturday? I'll text him. I'll ask him. You can lean on it being a joke, though. Are you going back to brown hair? Yeah, okay, so I don't think my natural hair color has been around on the gram, on the YouTube, since before the channel really became popular. So this dark brown here, that's my original hair color, and I'm growing it out. Everyone kept calling me blonde, and I was like, I have brown hair, and then I realized that is in fact blonde hair. Daddy face reveal when? I have a picture of him here. I'm gonna refrain from showing that. You can talk about mostly everything. Okay, so let's get to the hot take, because I think it might be interesting to talk about here, where I can spout off for about 40 minutes, and that's sort of the point of streaming. My hot take, drum roll please, was there's like really no good way to approach it, because if you approach it with too much passion, it seems concerning. If you don't approach it with enough passion, it's also very it's just a very concerning hot take. The hot take was, I believe that suicidal ideation is a very rational and logical thought. It's a logical rumination. And my point was essentially that whenever I have experienced those... I see. Everything you say is concerning. I'm aware. So basically, I felt that whenever I was experiencing anything on the spectrum of, like, having grandiose delusions, which my friends would interpret as me experiencing extreme narcissism and just, like, being not in touch with reality and not being the person that they knew I was, having hypomania and also mania is really difficult to see, and it makes you feel like a crazy person because you essentially are a crazy person. Then when you go on the other spectrum, we get to depression, we get to suicidal ideation. What ends up happening is that the way that you look at the world is extremely depressing, very pessimistic. However, it is the most objective appraisal of your experience of life that you'll have. And my problem was that whenever you talk about this subject, most people will treat you as though there is something wrong with you, or that you are having a crazy thought, or that you are damaged, or you're malfunctioning, or you are a lost cause. This doesn't happen with everyone. Fact of the matter is that if you are speaking to another individual who has not just had, because I think at every point, maybe at every point in someone's life, you'll have that thought. But for someone who's experienced it consistently, when you have that conversation, there is this general understanding that it's coming to terms with not death, but it's coming to terms with living, and it's really hard to live in a world where other people don't have to see the world that way. And so, yeah, I basically, I was like, I wish we could get to the point that even if a person doesn't have those thoughts, objectivity is only healthy when you're dealing with, okay, I don't care. Talking to people that don't necessarily experience or suffer from those thoughts, I wish that there was less of a fear of it, and that there was this ability to have a very open conversation is a lot to ask for, but it's almost as if you can't have the conversation at all. It's almost as if you're implying that you're taking yourself out of the race, and that your life, you don't value your life, and therefore it's communicating that no one else should value your life. That's essentially what this conversation ends up causing when you talk to someone that doesn't necessarily understand what that experience is like. It's not that you don't value your life or that you don't value life in general. It's just that you don't necessarily get to feel that. You don't necessarily feel the value, although you can intellectually appreciate it. However, when it gets to a point where those ideations are debilitating, then even then it's hard to have an intellectual appreciation for life, because you get to the point where you're like, when I am happy, when I am having a positive experience or reaction to things in my life and people, that is essentially delusion, because there is no underlying meaning or reason. It is simply just a reaction contingent upon physiological factors, behaviors, and thoughts, or whatever the fuck. We're getting off track. The point is that when you're experiencing those thoughts, when you are in that point of depression, it's very hard to it's like biking and your chain has no grease, right? That you don't have that lubricant that makes life easy to live. Woo! Thank you. And I heard it. Depressive realism, the concept that depressive normal one. Well, I wouldn't say it's normal. Because, again, this depends on your definition, but when you have not clinical depression, I'm not talking about like regular depressed feelings, I'm talking about clinical depression and the thoughts that come with that, and then eventually suicidal ideation. That is maladaptive. You are putting yourself in a position where you are not allowing yourself to survive properly, or that you don't want to survive at all. That is not normal. And it hurts to say it, because it really does feel like it makes sense. It's like, if we have the ability to have relatively speaking, we have awareness of life, and if we have that awareness, it's just shocking that we haven't offed ourselves to begin with. So yeah, it's like when you don't have the drive to survive, it's kind of like, of course I'm going to have these thoughts. Of course I'm going to look at the world where people have that ability, that drive to survive, and think it really is pointless. I have just discovered what it, like how meaningless it is to be alive because I no longer feel the need to do it. I no longer feel the need to survive. And yeah, it's a weird experience that everyone sort of has, but when you have it continuously, if you have it, if it's a significant feeling, if you have it continuously, sorry to break the mood, but are your DMs open, Caroline? It is almost never rational, though. See, that was my hot take. That was my hot take. I was like, suicide is never rational. I don't know. Yeah, but that's from the point of view that you should survive. Like, that we should keep surviving. That's... Oh, yeah, so, okay, now that you know what I'm talking about now, if you look back at that video, he was, like, genuinely concerned. But if you have this conversation with other people that have experienced this, they're like, yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? At a certain point, it's like your brain just says, stop, listen, buddy, take your natural selection. Don't reproduce. Don't keep going, okay? It's weird how you just physically stop having value. And in that case, because that's occurring, you're like, okay, well, it's rational for me to think that it's not worth living. Not all the time, sure, not all the time, but there are cases when that comes about. And I dislike how people will say, that's not rational. Okay, maybe. But then it's implying that I'm crazy. So, I don't know. Well, honestly, guys, don't want to bring down the mood. Doesn't matter. That was the hot take. Today, I'm not going to be drawing shit. I feel like LMAO Anthony looks so uncomfortable. I know. Well, okay, here's the thing. I love Anthony. I love him dearly. I do. But when our senses of humor are... I don't think I've ever found someone with, like, the most polar opposite sense of humor, because he is so light and outgoing and happy and goofy, and I, oh my god, am just depressing, dense analyzation of, like, minute and unnecessary details. It's sort of like he plays badminton with a shuttlecock, right? And that's like a little thing that you hit with a racket, with a racket that, like, it goes in the air, it flies on its own, it has, like, this beautiful momentum and aerodynamics. It's great. It's so fun to play badminton. Tennis, on the other hand, is difficult, okay? It requires a lot of effort to hit that heavy ball, and if you play with another person that's very good at tennis, it ends up becoming almost dangerous to get in the way of that ball. So essentially, he plays badminton, I play tennis. And you can't play, like, you can't have the same technique with tennis using a shuttlecock, right? And he can't use a badminton racket to hit a tennis ball. So it's just like, I tend to be very intense. He tends to be very outgoing. And whenever we talk, it's just like, it just never... it's, you know, my take on this shortly, if you come to terms with the fact that everything is... Guys, I'm so glad that you're all thinking about it. Really, I am. I'm not going to read it. I don't mean that in a negative way where I'm like, I don't want to hear your opinions. I'm polarized. I don't want to hear other... Because yes, that's the case. But also because I'm not going to read it. I've had to think about this so much, and obviously I'm not articulating it properly right now. Because I didn't prepare to talk about it. That's the thing. If you don't prepare to talk about the subject, then you're not going to have the talking points that kind of save you from the, but what about this? But what about that? Like, I didn't come here to argue this point. I think I was just trying to give a general overview as to why it is controversial. So without really getting into supporting why I have that hot take, I kind of just explained where it came from and why I still have it. Caroline just can't read. I can't read. That's true. I have somebody doing picture. My friend back here, you can't see him. He's drawing pictures for me so that I know what y'all are saying. Illiterate pilled. That's funny. Please draw. I was really drunk when I made that Reddit post. You could have put me on blast, but you didn't. What Reddit post? I have to go check these Reddit posts. Life being controversial makes everybody controversial. This is true. This is true. No, my whole thing is just like people's definition of sanity, like in general, the general population does not have a very diverse or considered spectrum of sanity. Some people have, and by the way, I'm not saying that there's a hierarchy of sanity. I'm just saying there are different kinds of sanity. There are different kinds of ways of appraising the world and being attached to a shared reality, right? And I know that makes me sound crazy, but essentially what I'm saying is that everyone looks at the world differently. And more often than not, I find people, like, I never really truly thought that I was crazy. I knew that I was weird and I was quirky. It never occurred to me that at a certain point I wouldn't be in control of how far removed I became from essentially reality. And so now that I'm in this position where I find that there are certain things that I will not be able to talk about with people, even if I articulate the points to an extent that one could say from one perspective, it's true. It could be a true statement. It's still always going to put me in a position where I'm going to seem off my rocker. And this is something that I had trouble with before I actually experienced this phenomenon of feeling crazy on my own. What is your favorite illegal substance? I never really took any illegal substances. I smoked weed. I did drink. Sanity is objective. No. Well, yes. There are some. I remember when I got to the hospital, I had been sedated and apparently I was catatonic. And I don't think I remember like the first 48 hours because people like knew my name and had heard me like knew who I was and what I was doing there. And I did not remember ever having that conversation. So I would say things and they're like, yeah, we just talked about this a day ago. I'm like, how long have I been here? So the moment that I sort of regained consciousness after, like, I think I slept for 20 hours. I slept without urinating somehow. I slept for 20 hours and I woke up and gravity felt a little bit different. And I remember I had no idea where I was. And I walked to the end of the hallway because there's like the ward and then there's like an area where you get your medication. And before you leave that door to get to your medication, there's a sign on the door that says, make sure you have a reality check before you leave. What a weird and bizarre sign to see the moment you wake up after being completely disoriented. And essentially what it means is that you couldn't leave that area of the hospital unless you had a nurse make sure that you understood where you were going, who you are, what you are doing, like what your objective is, if you're a danger to yourself, or like you had to have literally a reality check. Like, are you safe? For some people, it was like, are you safe enough to leave this part of the hospital on your own? Other people, it's, are you sane enough to leave this part of the hospital on your own? And then there's everybody in between who is there because they were having a 72-hour hold because they were having suicidal ideations or they had an attempt on their life. The thing, again, like you have a whole spectrum of sanity, and of course there is insanity, but sanity, and it's sort of all grouped together. All of those patients in that hospital would have been grouped together as just something that you can't understand, and you shouldn't understand those people. You shouldn't have to understand those people because they're wrong. They're broken. They are objectively broken. And that's sort of that's why I tend to think about the subject of depression and all the symptoms that occur when you have it. And it's also why I dislike having these conversations on the internet, because you can't get a sense of where people are coming from with their opinion just through text. I have D's. It's horrible. Guys, I get it. It's a funny joke. Testicles. Can we get... Listen. I'm carrying the weight of this stream. None of you are funny. Okay? If you're gonna make a testicle joke... Broken Caroline versus Boring Caroline. Consnar. Whoa, I should know how to say my last... That's not my last name. Broken Consnar versus Boring Consnar. That's a good question. If I'm interpreting the question right, I really dislike Boring Caroline. I really dislike having, like, my brain. My brain is sort of like, when I'm boring, it means that it's on a very tight leash. I am in control of all of my thoughts, all of the things that I say, all of my I'm in control of everything. I don't like that. I don't feel like a person, all right? I just sort of feel like a machine. I'm like, okay, I just have to do this and I have to do that. There's no abstraction from the way that I look at the world. And so it's just like, you're not really a person, you're just a monkey. But then Broken Caroline is really scary. And I never realized how scary it was until there was the big schism. And then after that, like, moments of breaking, and then even now... knock on wood, even now I still experience Broken Caroline, where it's scary because you're like, you stop functioning the way that you're supposed to. It's like, it's not even that your brain isn't on a leash anymore. It's like your brain has taken the leash and run, and now it's tripping over the leash and it's getting strangled. It's difficult because one of the main symptoms of getting into Broken Caroline is having trouble sleeping. And there's a very big difference between having normal troubles with sleeping and then this sensation that there's a storm coming. Because when you can't sleep because your brain has stopped work, well, your brain's taking a bit of a shit. It's tap dancing right now, okay? It's tap dancing when it's supposed to be cha-cha sliding. There's this really bizarre feeling in the pit of your stomach where it feels like there's just something that's going to explode out of you. And the longer that lasts physically, like, the more it interferes with your thoughts. The more that you're, like, it's sort of like you're just in this very weird state of arousal all the time. Your brain's like, are we murdering someone now? Sleep is overrated. Anyway, do you suffer from bipolar considering you separate you and Broken... Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. If you're not aware, for the past 2 years, almost 2 years, all I've been talking about is being bipolar. All I've been talking about is being... Oh, my God. Okay. So, I'm taking a psych course at college, and the majority of it has just been, like, super chiasmatic nucleus, baby circadian rhythm, baby neurotransmitters, baby glutamine. You know how you do psychology or whatever. And now we're specifically looking into disorders, and it's a really quick overview of a bunch of different disorders. So, like, anything from, like, anxious, depressive, psychotic, and then, of course, mood disorders. And my professor knows that I have bipolar disorder because we're supposed to write every week. Oh, shit. I just remembered I have to write something for my class. Every week we have to write something, and so I don't remember how, but I mentioned that I had taken lithium, which is, like, the main medication to treat bipolar disorder, and she commented on that. The funny thing is that now that we're talking about bipolar disorder in the class, I can see that there's, like, this general, like, discomfort where when you're talking about the negative physical aspects of living with this disorder, she's like, I, like, keep looking this way. writing stream. You need physiology for, you need to learn the brain physiology for psych. Yeah, well, but your prerequisite needs to cover like very, very, very basic neurochemistry before. Oh, that's the thing. I really wanted. Okay, I have to do like a research class next semester because that's a really important prerequisite to take any other class in that field. But I want to take clinical psychology. The problem is that I have to like learn how to do. I have to learn how to do like biology, and I'm not about that. Journal stream. I have things in my journal. I have a, okay, the entry that I just flipped to is really sexist. Do you guys want to hear this? I haven't read this all the way through. I assume that I no longer feel this way, but it's possible that I still do. Okay, of course that's a yes. Who the fuck would say? All right. Okay, but when I say sexist, I mean this is not sexist towards women. This is sexist towards men. Okay? Something just fell in my apartment. Okay. Men who are insecure are far more ill-humored than women of a similar mental state. Without his self-worth, the man grows listless and resents his responsibilities. Without a healthy pride, men become angry, demanding it from his sources with desperation and entitlement. I don't know what that means. You see, naturally, we don't question what we deserve and what we are not given a right to until you're older. Men, a large group I've observed, nice diplomacy, Caroline, observed cannot understand the unspoken privileges they have. It's not that they deserve them or did anything to deserve them. It is simply naturalized behavior, a product of a history where such pricks, to give them a name, gave themselves a credibility with regards to reason and logic they didn't share with women, that I can only assume was caused by the conflation of childbirth to biological inferiority, therefore intellectual inferiority. It is learned, it is nurture, but soon a method was influenced of the advent. What the fuck did I write here? I don't remember. Oh, okay. We have a little bit of a time to clip Caroline out of context. This isn't criticizing man. It's reminding you of the point of view you can see with your head up your ass. Okay? Everyone's shit stinks. Well, some have to clean theirs up. What? Everyone's shit stinks. Well, some have to clean theirs up. We're just lucky we no longer have to clean yours up as well. Metaphor about sexism. Everybody poops. Okay, I think essentially what I was saying, like, there's a saying, everybody shits, but some stinks more than others. Everyone shits, but, you know, now you have to clean it up yourself because me, as a tittied woman, as a vagina man, as a vagina monster, I'm not cleaning up your shit anymore. Ha, I said funny genital words and then stinky poo-poo words. Some of these are like not funny. Some of these are just like general journal entries. If you want to hear those, I can read them. They're just like, you know, they're not necessarily very entertaining. Did you write that after a large nap? I don't think so. Okay. I feel absolutely terrible. It's absurd how the tiniest bit of stress will keep me from sleeping, and then send me into the into a hypomanic state. I don't even have energy this time. This mania is anger, and anger that can't be reasoned with because it isn't a product of anything organic. It's a disordered response to stress. You know what really pisses me off? Men being stupid, women getting angry about it, folks on the in-between asking for respect, and all I really want and what everyone wants is acknowledgement and understanding. Well, in my expert... Wait, what? In my experience, I'm not sure I've ever seen a man that truly understands the female experience. I guess that's like asking a cat if it feels the pain of a mouse. Some men take the heat. I mean, after seeing the evidence of female harassment, I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. Guys, I was angry. This was a different part of my life. Caroline writing a psychological care. For real. For real. Eesh. What the fuck? A direct response to that entry. We all live with the knowledge. Oh, I think I've read this before. Oops. Silent reading. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying. Okay, wait, hang on. Let me see. This might be interesting. This idea started as a way to independently find a way to pressure a fine arts establishment into displaying art made for the people of various social media platforms. It would start slowly building interests in interactive art through merchandise. To do this, you work your contacts, slowly establishing more clout by becoming an internet phenomenon, a visual spectral, if you will. Take an... I don't know what that says. I can't read my handwriting. I can't read my writing. This is exclusive content. Discovering my psychological issues. When did you write these? I don't know when I wrote these. These don't have a date associated with them. I am bitter, spiteful, rude, arrogant, and pessimistic. I am okay with this. The idea, personality, and temperament harbor descriptors like sweet, sensitive, and jolly. I am not okay with this. People aim to be so sweet all the time that it caused us social diabetes or a complete inability to process this excessive personability. If you're bitter, you are more sensitive and rewarded by the sweet. If you are bitter, emotive moderation gives life depth in moments of pain. It is manageable in moments of pleasure. It gives a reason to live another day chasing for it. Fuck those that are not angry at everything and don't make themselves all that they are, coming to terms with said anger. Fuck those ignorant of their stability. Fuck those that work so hard at a lazy performance. I saw a man today on the subway in one of the most baffling outfits I've ever seen since 2010. This man was clearly insecure. I mean, he was wearing the uniform of insecurity. And the problem is if you tell him to take it off, his insecurity would cause him to cling tighter to the seams. Well, Caroline, are you jealous at happy people? I would say so. I don't even know if it's I used to be jealous. Thank you. I do remember my dreams. Actually, I remember my dream from today. I had a dream that I don't remember smoking the weed. Yeah, I turned the text to speech off because y'all made a good point. I listened to the replay and oh my god. Text to speech is not supposed to have Parkinson's, okay? I'm not being ableist here, all right? It's meant to be less ableist. That's what text to speech is supposed to be. So don't mix Parkinson's and ableism. My dream, I don't remember smoking the weed, but all of a sudden I was like, I just remember I was really, really impaired and like confused and tired, but I had to go to class. I had to go to, I had to go to this class that's in a building that's in the basement. And when I was like putting my key card into the door, a girl comes up to me and she's like, I can tell you're high. And I'm like, what? And so before I even walked into the building, I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving. I don't know what's going on. I called my mom and I was like, hey mom, I just want to let you know that I have a really bad cold. And like my voice, I could barely speak. And she's like, okay, cool, don't die. And then I woke up. That was a really uncomfortable dream because the last time I ever felt really high in public to the point where I knew other people could tell. Like you can be paranoid and you're like, I bet people can tell, but they can't. There was a point in time where it was so bad that I knew I had to leave. There was when I was 16, before I was diagnosed, and I was smoking weed a lot because I did not enjoy the bountiful pleasures of SSRIs and mood stabilizers. And like, I don't know, I'll tell you something. I was a G. I communicated to so many psychiatrists, so many psychologists. I was very articulate about the way that I was feeling, and most people were just kind of like, you're fine. And so I was like, okay, well, now I have to take it upon myself to, like, make sure that I don't, like, I'm not gonna fall apart. So I smoked weed a lot, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad talking about it because, quite frankly, I don't know what I was supposed to do. I made the money so that I could purchase that weed. So no harm, no foul. But yeah, I'm a weep. So because I had pretty crippling's a strong word. I had pretty bad depression, very, very, very bad depression. I had a complete inability to like perform, like do ballet, go to class and take ballet and be in that environment because it's a really shitty environment. I mean, it's a really shitty environment. Even if you're healthy, if you're not healthy, that it could be a lethal environment. It's really, really fucking bad for you. So I decided not to do one of the performances against like my parents' wishes. My teachers were disappointed in me. My friends thought I was lazy because I was like, fuck it, I'm opting out. I'm not doing it. So I didn't do this performance, but the performance was happening like sometime before Christmas, and I had the ability to go and watch the performance, but I was like, I don't think I can do this without like really getting really fucked up. So I went into the bathroom with my friend and we both shared a pen of marijuana. And I remember I did so much pen of marijuana that my friend was like, dude, you good? And I'm like, yes, very fine. And then all of a sudden I just remember like walking around and my depth perception changed. I didn't think I was going to be able to talk to someone if they came up and started speaking to me. And I was right about to go and sit like in the audience, and I was just like, nope, I'm leaving. And here's the worst part of this story. Basically, this performance is a choreographic where students have to choreograph on other students, make a ballet piece for other students. And I was a part of this kid's ballet piece, and maybe like a week or 2 weeks before the performance, I was like, I can't do it. And he was like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm injured. The fact of the matter is I was just really fucking depressed. He got so pissed at me. This kid was talking the most shit about me. And I was like, right on. If someone did that to me, I would have been, oof. I would have caused some sort of, like hardcore Amish shunning. But it was that performance where I was like, I feel like I should go into the audience to support this choreographer because I feel bad. I had to leave. I was so high. I called my mom and I was like, listen, I don't think I'm ever going to dance a day in my life. And she's like, all right, okay, sure. You're just being a moody teenage. Shut the fuck up. You're fine. I took like a month off. I had to go back because my parents were sort of like, well, what the fuck are you going to do with your life? I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like doing anything anymore. And they're like, okay. This is unlike you. It's not a cute look for you. Maybe you should get the fuck over it. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to ballet so that I don't have to feel incompetent anymore. And then sing Paradise by the dashboard light on stream. Hold on, let me just finish this story. Anyways, yeah, that didn't last very long. Actually, ever since that time, I haven't really been able to dance the way that I wanted to. Does ballet pay well? No. No. You get good health insurance. I was not, the pressure wasn't that intense. Because if I really wanted to, I could have said, fuck all of this. I'm just going to have a more conventional lifestyle, right? It's not going to be high pressure at all. And, yeah, okay. Hello, everyone. There is a song called Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Oh, my God. It's by Meatloaf. Okay, here we go. It starts out, dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's the intro. Well, I remember every little thing as if it happened only yesterday. Parking by the lake, and there was not another car in sight. And I never had a girl looking any better than you did. And all the kids in school, they were wishing they were me that night. And now our bodies are oh so close and tight. It never felt so good, it never felt so right. And we're glowing like the metal on the edge of a knife. Glowing like the metal on the edge of a knife. That song is about two 17-year-olds fucking in a car. And actually, it's a lovely little narrative. The girl does not really want to have sex, but Meatloaf is like, you need to shut the fuck up and just let me do this to you. And she's like, Kay, if that's the case, you have to marry me. And he's like, I just want to stick my dick in you. Would you shut the fuck up? And then they get married. And then the end of the song is basically like, I wish I had never have done this because I fucking hate you and this has been a horrible experience. Oh my God, okay, if people keep talking about fucking feet, cry about it, why don't you? You are not okay. I feel pretty good. I'm gonna cry. My friend hasn't texted me back. I'm angry my friend hasn't texted me back, everyone. So angry. No, here, let's have a Manny update. Manuel, my bestie, my spit sister, he was in the hospital for strep throat. And he nearly got scarlet fucking fever, whatever the fuck it is, if you don't treat strep throat, because he was about to die. This bitch was put on morphine. How the fuck do you get put on morphine in New York? No. So he gets out, he's feeling a lot better, and then all of a sudden today, he's like, dude, I'm in the hospital again. What the fuck? How are you in the what? You're in the hospital? He's like, I got strep throat again. And I think I've been having too much coitus. I think that's what's been causing it. And I was like, thank you. This is so much information that I absolutely needed to hear. I don't think that's how medicine works, but sure. Frickin' Shelby. I haven't had to deal with Shelby in so long. Like, she genuinely, ugh. It's the kind of person that both makes you hate yourself and love yourself at the same time. Because you're like, oh, okay, maybe I don't understand. Like, maybe I'm just a bad person. I'm not interesting. I'm not funny. Like, I'm not a likable person because everyone seems to like this person. You can't fucking understand why she's likable. But then at the same time, you dislike this person so much that you're like, I'm great as fuck. Thank God someone like this exists to remind me how good that I am. Narcissism? Bruh, Manny got money if he's visiting the hospital so many times. I'm gonna be, let's just say that, the university at which I attend has pretty killer student health insurance. Things keep falling off my shelf. Guys, guess what I have been doing? I have been putting all the fucking illustrations that I've made and all my posters on a printing thing, and soon I'm gonna be selling fucking clothing. I'm gonna be selling fucking posters. It's all gonna happen quite soon. Or not. I don't know. I still have to get a bunch of the samples for the clothing, but they look cute as fuck. They look cute as fuck. It is not online yet. I will let you know. You will know I will be doing a lot of advertising. I'll be doing a lot of marketing for this shit. But they're cool. All of them are super cool. You go to an Ivy League, right? I go to the Ghostbusters school. I go to the school that the Ghostbusters did school at. Okay. Are you done falling from the fucking shelf? Goddamn. Spoopy. Hi from Sweden, Miss Konstnär. Do you have a ghost the fuck? No, I just have shit in my shelf that's falling from the fucking shelf. Will you wear them before you sell them? You know what? If I end up selling underwear, I'm just kidding. Why is your chin touching the bottom of the... Can you put the... No, it's... See, okay, the reason why I'm so low is because my back is not even the letter C, okay? It's like this. This is... If this was my back, like the spine area, because if I sit up straight, this would be... I don't take care of myself, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, look, Patty's Pub. We'll be able to sell your artworks. If so, I'm going to hang them on my wall and tell my mom, it's art. Yeah. Man shoulders. The row poppin', isn't it? It's fleece. It's so fucking nice. Caroline, can we ban all the Swedes from the chat? Can we ban all the Norwegians from the chat? Jeez. Thanks for dressing up for us, dude. No problem. I blew dried my hair and I'll put on some fucking makeup. Ooh, what should I have for dinner? I'm thinking I'm gonna get pizza. Should I get 2 slices or 1? Don't ban me, jag är snäll. Chicago style. Fuck Chicago style pizza. I like that city. Their pizza sucks balls. Okay? The real Italians. They came to Ellis Island. They stayed on the East Coast. Those are the real Italians. They made the good shit. Chicago, that's just real capitalist American qualities, taking a beautiful thing and then making it big as fucking greasy in hell and causes diabetes. Fuck that pizza. Favorite flavor of pizza. I would hope that all pizza has a, like cheese and tomato. It's pretty similar flavor. Do you have a Patreon creator financial support Bernie Sanders style, sir? That's funny. I don't really know. What would you put on Patreon? Can we please stop speaking Swedish? There is one of me and I can't use Google Translate. Is it cold in New York City? Yes, it is. I don't like going to the gym, and putting my shit away in a locker because I'm too lazy. So I always walk in the things that I'm gonna wear to the gym, and I barely made it. I really want to relearn Hebrew. You knew Hebrew? Dang. Jag kan inte ditt språk. Jag vet inte om du säger kränker. The fuck did you just write? Jag inte talar svenska. I can't remember how to speak that fucking language. I don't remember how to speak that fucking language. I never care to remember how to speak that fucking language. LMAO, I never learned Hebrew fluently. I know the alphabet. Aleph, bet, bet, Aleph, bet, bet, Gimel, Dalet, hey. That was fun. Good times. That's true, but we only say nice things. Jew school is real? Well, there's Jew school. There are Jewish day schools. There's like high school. Bitch, we're getting Sanskrit in the fucking... Is that what that is? I don't know. I am... Oh, but there's like Hebrew school. I went to Hebrew high school, which means that like I kept doing Hebrew school into high school because I'm a fucking idiot. Astrology or Myers-Briggs, are they really different? Okay, so astrology gives people a sense of control over their life. I think it helps people be more, it helps them be more mindful, insightful. Obviously, like, it's not going to tell you anything about yourself that's going to help you find your real identity. Eventually, you're just going to project your identity onto these very general characteristics. It's not like that shouldn't be your identity. Myers-Briggs personality test is interesting. It's not accurate. You can take that test. I mean, there are a lot of people that will take it over the course of a couple of years and still get the same result because you do have underlying traits that can be measured or that are unchanging, whatever. But the thing is that the questions don't necessarily encompass all of like the nuanced aspects of what a personality is, because how can you really define personality? So a lot of the Myers-Briggs, test questions are regarding like being an introvert or an extrovert or how you feel about like leadership roles, and it's also requiring you to analyze or evaluate yourself, which isn't necessarily the most accurate. And at the end of the day, if it helps you feel more mindful of who you are, great. That's what they're good for. However, I don't think it actually tells you what you are. Like, I got diplomatic, right? Or whatever the fuck it's called. An ENPF? I don't remember. I was called a campaigner. And all the people that are campaigners were like Robin Williams and fucking Ellen DeGeneres. Like, nobody cool. Nobody fucking like, you know, like Einstein. It was just like entertainers. And so I'm like, okay, maybe that makes sense. But again, that's just like surface level personality. ENFP. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Caroline is taken. I have no comment for this. Caroline, can you help me? What should I be in major, economics or anthropology? Anthropology is probably really fun. Do economics. I don't know. Unless you're planning on doing something real cool with anthropology, do economics. Dang, straight up diss. I'm not dissing Robin Williams, okay? Fucking great entertainers. I was dissing entertainers relative to STEM people. That's all I was saying. I was dissing my own stupidity. Caroline, are you still doing only mail? Oh, fuck, I forgot about all of it. Guys. I'm Hawkeye, said this one online test, but I don't know how accurate it is. That's funny. Where'd you get the crown from? What crown? Oh. Who is this? It's a good question. I'm not sure. Actually, we've been talking about personality. Guys, can you assess my personality? What the fuck is wrong with me? Caroline, do a BuzzFeed quiz on stream. Dana, Bobana had to put on slow mode. Live stream ballet. You're a hot dog living in a what? Queening. Why are there multiple? I have another one. I just like it fell on the floor. I don't want to pick it up. A narcissism problem and some psychopathic traits. I don't deny the narcissism because I think my insecurities are definitely show how well I've coped. Like, considering how insecure I am and considering the way that I present myself to others, I think my narcissistic traits are pretty fucking impressive. I mean, I don't know about psychopathic. I don't know about that one. It would be cool if I could be like, yeah, I'm a psychopath. I'd be smart or whatever. I'd be eating shit or I'd be cutting open cats or whatever. But cluster B, I don't know what that means. Caroline, what is your IQ? I think we've talked about this before. I don't remember the number. I don't think I took an IQ. I took a, is it called a WAS? I don't remember. Basically, like, you have the bell curve, right? And I'm outside of the normal. I'm outside of the whatever, the normal bell curve. So that's cool. However, I have no executive functioning skills. IQ tests can vary a lot, but you can find some links for good ones on Reddit. No, I had to go to an actual doctor for this one because there was something. Guys, I'll tell you something. They thought I had severe ADHD. Lo and behold. I assumed you meant on the low end, not gonna lie. I mean, if yeah. What the fuck is cluster B spread? What? NPD and BPD by are we saying like borderline personalities? Narcissistic oh. I don't think I have borderline. I know people with borderline personality disorder. That's a shit show. Sorry. I love them dearly. They're trying their best, but like, oh my god, that is a really, really difficult disorder to live with. Narcissistic personality disorder, I don't know. I don't tend to have that many social issues. That's about Caroline. You're a Leo, right? I am a Leo. Same birthday as Obama. The only reliable IQ test must be measured in a clinical setting. Yeah, no, it was a doctor. It was a doctor, and it was a good doctor apparently. Carolina Kunstmar. When will Joey join your stream? My brother's roommate at Purdue just got COVID, and so now he has to quarantine and take a fucking COVID test. Your birthday is the same as my grandpa's, but 60 years apart. Dang, sexy grandpa. Birthday buddies. Check the subreddit on stream. Yo, my dad went to Purdue. Purdue's really nice. My brother was like, sometimes I'll be like in dining halls and then I'll notice that people are watching your videos. I'm like, why don't you go up to them and be like, I've seen her like struggle to hold in diarrhea in a car for 2 hours and just horribly embarrassed. Like, why don't you go up, tell people shit like that? He's like, I don't know, I don't want to say anything. Alright. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting tired and I really want pizza. See, there's a reason why I like Instagram live streams because they're a lot more casual. I feel like there can be a lot more dead air, and it's not so much of a fucking talk show, which I don't mind time to time. But like when I want to go out and get pizza, if I want on Instagram live, I'd be like, okay. Oh, that's not true because then I would show up at the outside of my home, which I don't want to do. Quick question. I've been wondering about my personality and its obvious anomalies, and I feel like I have another disorder. So should I talk to my psychiatrist? Such an unfortunate, so unfortunate. I mean, it doesn't hurt to talk to your psychiatrist. It depends on what your relationship is like with your psychiatrist, because some people talk to their psychiatrist like it's their therapist. Their therapist is very involved with their life. Other people talk to their psychiatrist for like 5 minutes and they're like, I want Xanax. And they're like, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of my office. And then they get Xanax. So it depends. But if you have a personality disorder, in addition to taking meds, therapy is really required to help you manage it. Not that I'm a fucking psychiatrist or a psychologist. It's just that I've seen it before. I grew up with it. Why didn't you go to an art college instead of the Ghostbusters college? I wasn't planning on going to college, period. I didn't take the SATs. Do with that information what you will. I did not believe that I would do well in school. I never wanted to go to art school, though. Going to art school, it's fine for some people. It's fine for some people. I would never fucking go to art school. I would just sell art. Like, you know, just sell art. Just be good at art and then sell it. Because it's not just art, it's marketing, right? If you go to art school, they're going to teach you how to market your artwork, and it's like shit marketing. Like, I don't know. Go to art school if you want to. I just don't, not for me. Art school will make your art better. You make your art better. You make your art better. I do think it helps to have an art teacher, but there are okay, I only say this because, like, in New York, you can take, like, a $15 art class with very good instructors, and they don't necessarily, like, teach you how to do everything, but, like, you can draw something, and then they help you troubleshoot. They're like, this is out of proportion, this needs to look this way, this needs to be better. Here's a bunch of master copies you should do, and then that's just how you get better at it. Also, like, you should have to draw every day. I don't know, like, incentivized drawing, which you do at art school, I don't know. Ever played D&D? If so, thoughts? I always wanted to play D&D, but I don't really have the friends to do that with. Art school provides you more tools. That's true. Well, I don't know. It depends on what you're going to art school for. Sorry, I was checking my phone. You're like an inspiration to all those that have... If you got rejected from art school, would you decide to write a book and then start... Do you audition for acting roles these days? I could. I don't. I am both lazy, but also there's really no incentive. It's kind of like, I would rather just write and then figure out how to get there anyway. Because the things that, like, you're auditioning for, especially the comedies, are fucking terrible. Dude, I'm gonna just write it better. The fuck? I know that sounds, like, really bold, brash, and beautiful, and a little, arrogant, but what the fuck else am I gonna say? Oh, I can't do that. No! That's what I can do. I am good and equipped to do such a thing. What kind of music do you listen to lately? Like genre, artist, album? I posted my Spotify replay, whatever, rewrap, whatever. People got mad at me because they're like, you're not listening to enough music. I'm like, yup. I use both Apple Music and Spotify because I'm a fucking idiot. Can I do, like, Mitski? If you got a role in a Christmas romance movie, would you take it? I would just make one myself, god damn it. Alright, guys, you listening? Stop. If you're texting something right now, stop it. Stop typing. I hear you. You're probably thinking to yourself, like, oh, I'm not the person that's typing, like everyone else. Stop typing. I'm gonna go and get pizza right now. I need to go and get pizza right now. I desperately need to go and get pizza. I haven't had anything to eat today, and I feel like I'm about to die from being awake too much all the time. I'm gonna go and get pizza. Thank you. Thank you. I will take my vitamins. Thank you. I'm really glad that I made the text to speech, like, have that limit, because, oh boy, it was a lot less distracting. All right, goodbye. Love you dearly. How do I shut this thing? Okay. And bye.